Hey guys, Stuart here. Welcome back to another Sheetify CRM tutorial. Today's focus is to show you what you can and can't edit inside the CRM. And for those that don't know, our Sheetify CRM is an all-in-one Google Sheets CRM template. Now, when I say you cannot edit something, this means you cannot simply make changes on the front end, and you will need to have experience with formulas and AppScript. Many of our customers ask what columns within our CRM that they can change, edit, and move. So that's what we're going to cover today. I also have a full working document, which I'll link down below, that also shares everything you can and cannot do inside our Sheetify CRM when it comes to personal customizations. Now, before we dive in, I also want to mention if there are custom changes you want to make, or if you want to add automations or other tools to this CRM, and maybe you don't have the experience to do this yourself, then you can hire our developer team to help you with those specific customizations. If you're interested in this, I will add the relevant information down below in the description. Okay, so diving inside our Sheetify CRM, you can see we're currently inside of contacts and leads. Now, firstly, with all of these tabs down here, you can move these around if you like. However, you cannot change the names unless you make changes inside the AppScript. Also, with each of the columns in any of the sheets within this CRM, you cannot delete any of these. If you do, it can disrupt the flow of data between the different sheets. However, what you can do is simply right-click, navigate down, and click on Hide Column. And you can hide specific columns that you do not want to show inside your CRM. Okay, let's click out of this. Now, if you want to add a new column to any of these sheets, to do that without disrupting the flow of data, is you need to navigate all the way over to the far right hand side, then navigate up here, right click, and then insert column to the right. And by adding new columns to the far right hand side of any of your sheets, you will not disrupt the flow of data between these sheets. So again, to add new columns, simply insert as many columns as you like to the far right hand side of each of your sheets. Okay, let's navigate back over here. Also, it's important to note that you cannot move columns around, as this will disrupt the flow of data between sheets. Again, you can if you have experience with AppScript. Now let's take a look at contacts and leads and see what you can customize. Essentially, the only columns that you can customize without disrupting the flow of data is the address here. You can change this if you like, as well as phone number and media and files. So you can change these columns to anything that you like. Now you can also change type and source if you like. However, the values that you can see here and over here are found over in settings. For example, let's navigate over to settings, and here you can see source, you can make changes here, and then we can see type over here. Okay, let's jump back over to contacts and leads, and again that's going to change the values in here. So those are the only columns that you can customize. Now let's navigate over to customer snapshot. This is just a snapshot, so you cannot change any of the columns within this sheet. Again, you can add additional columns if you like to the far right hand side. Then let's navigate over to sales pipeline. Again, this is also a snapshot of your deals, and you cannot customize anything on this sheet. However, if you do want to customize these sales stages, you can again navigate over to settings and add your sales stages down here. That's going to change these sales stages. Okay, next, let's navigate over to client tasks. Again, all of these columns are fixed. However, if we navigate over here, again, we can add additional columns to the far right hand side. To do that, remember, all you need to do is right click, then navigate down and click on insert one column to the right. And you can add as many columns as you like to the far right hand side of any sheet. Again, let's navigate over to client calendar. Hey, just quickly before we get back into this tutorial, if you're getting value from this video, please drop a like and subscribe. This means a lot to me and ultimately helps us reach and help more small business owners across YouTube. Thank you in advance, and with that quick note, let's jump back into this video. This is a calendar view that you cannot customize. Then we have email templates. Now you cannot customize these columns here. However, you can customize the email labels as well as the email subject and the email body. If you want to learn more about how you can customize each of these different elements when it comes to email marketing and creating your own campaigns, then I will add a tutorial down below in the description which will show you how to make changes to these labels. For example, if we navigate up to Sheetify email marketing, you can see these labels over here. If you wanted to change these labels here, then you'll also need to change those labels inside the AppScript. However, I have a tutorial that shows you how to do this. Let's navigate over to dashboard. Again, with the dashboard, you cannot customize this snapshot as it incorporates the flow of data from each of your sheets into a dashboard with many of these different widgets. Again, if you have experience with Google Sheets and AppScript, then you can make changes here. If you want to add additional widgets or elements to the dashboard, make sure you get in touch with us today. Then again, we mentioned settings. This is where you can set up your entire account. For example, in the contacts and leads sheet, you can make changes to these values down here based on the type of business that you operate. The same is with sales status. Then if we navigate across, we have purchase, inventory, and transactions. Again, you can make changes based on the nature of your business. Okay, let's navigate over to purchases. Here you cannot change most of these columns. Again, that will disrupt the flow of data. However, you can change notes. And as I mentioned, with all sheets, you can add additional columns to the far right-hand side. Now, in terms of status, you can change the values in settings under purchase status. Okay, let's navigate over to inventory. Again, similar to purchases, there are many automations here. You can add additional types in settings. And if we navigate across, you can also change notes and add additional columns to the far right-hand side. Then if we navigate down to transactions, again, similar to purchases and inventory, you cannot make changes to these different columns. You can only add additional columns to the far right-hand side. If we navigate over to settings, again, for purchase, inventory, and transactions, you can change the purchase status down here, as well as transactions down here, and inventory type. You cannot change these dark green fields, as these are connected to automations. Okay, let's navigate back down and head over to tickets and issues. Now here, you can make changes to the source column as well as the priority column. Then if we navigate across, you can also customize notes and add additional columns to the far right-hand side. In terms of source here and priority, if we navigate over to settings, you can see the ticket status and ticket source down here. And you can add additional values down here. Okay, let's navigate back over to contacts and leads. Now, if you like, you can also add additional sheets to your CRM and use these to manage different areas of your business. However, that is everything that I wanted to cover in what you can and cannot customize inside our Sheetify CRM. Again, if you need help with customizing your Google Sheets CRM template or any other Google Sheets template that you own, we can help you with that. And you can find more details down below in the description. If you have any questions about this working document, what you can and cannot do, make sure to add your comments down below in the description. If you got value from this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and that way I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.